Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are back again, slightly taking it away from the inquest this time, but we ain't finished with that. There's so much more to get through. I want to talk about the video that Mark Williams Thomas posted this morning on his TikTok account. Mark Williams Thomas recently done a podcast, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. We responded and reacted to that podcast. We broke it down. Mark, I'm surprised we haven't received that email from you by now, my friends, because as we know, I broke it down in that video, lies and deception. If you haven't seen that video, go and check it out. We only done it a few days ago. It sounds like Mark is going to be doing another podcast, not a documentary. It doesn't sound like he's doing a documentary. It sounds like he's doing another podcast, his own podcast, where he is going to be dedicating it to Jay SLATER. Maybe a one-off podcast, giving us the evidence that he said he had. Will give us a clearer understanding as to why Jay left the Airbnb in the manner that he did. What's extremely interesting is in this video, he's going to tell us who gave him that evidence. And what it's going to do is prove my theory, right, that Mark and many others were played from day one, played by a multitude of people, but the main culprit, Ayub Qasim. Anyway, let's get into what Mark's got to say in this video.
The death of Jay SLATER opened yesterday at Preston Crown Court. I put on hold my podcast because I felt it right that the formal...
My podcast. I put on hold my podcast. So he hasn't mentioned documentary, he says podcast.
Police process should be allowed to conclude, and as such, I've kept quiet on all the evidence.
So he's more or less waited for the process to conclude to get to this point before he starts releasing the evidence that he claims he had.
Hearing how disappointing the inquest was yesterday, I decided to speak out on a number of points. At the time, in Tenerife, I undertook a detailed assessment and brief investigation. I was given access to the family and traced and spoke to key witnesses who were with Jay during his holiday, and in particular on the evening and on the morning of when he was last seen. I've interviewed all the key witnesses except one person. All interviews were recorded, and I still have them, and all the evidence and documentation and pictures that I collected at the time, I still have. First,
are you going to release them?
My thoughts remain with Debbie and the family, especially as this time when they have told how poor the police investigation has been. As a family of a loved one who has died requiring a police investigation, all they want to know is that that investigation has been thorough, has spoken to all the witnesses, been detailed, and crucially, they have retained and collected.
No, Mark, stop trying to act. I don't even believe that Mark really engages with the family as he says he does. Because the way he's talking right now is if he's speaking for the family. You're not speaking for the family, because if you were speaking for the family, Mark, you would have been at that inquest. Although Debbie and Warren have been told about certain injuries that sound like it is plausible for Jay to have fallen off that cliff on his own, it doesn't mean that they believe in the accident, especially when there's enough evidence to prove that something suspicious took place before Jay fell off that cliff. And if you would have been competent enough to do your due diligence based on the information that you was given, you would have been able to decipher that information and understand that there was more to it than just an accident, my friend. It sounds like because Mark has heard that Josh Forshaw come out and said, oh yeah, Jay had 2 knives and he showed me the picture. Mark just wants to come out and say, I told you so. The audacity of Mark actually saying after 3 days, he said that there was no foul play involved. There was no third party involved. But then here we have Josh Forshaw telling us that Jay had 2 knives. See, the thing is about the picture of Jay having 2 knives, no one can verify if that picture is actually true. And based on how the picture is being described, it sounds like it was a picture that was being taken whilst the blanket picture was being taken. So when they were looking down, taking a picture of the blanket with a cigarette in their hand, they also took a picture of someone with 2 knives in their trousers. But guess what? Jay wasn't wearing trousers, was he? He was wearing shorts. And that was too obvious. You couldn't use that bit of footage, could you? Because it would have proven it wasn't Jay. So they decided to use the blanket photo instead, and they sent this 2 knife photo to who? Josh. Not Brad, not Brandon, not Lucy, Josh, a guy that can't be verified by Jay. because unfortunately, God bless his soul, he is now dead. So he can't come out and say, yeah, I know Josh, I met him at the airport. And then we don't even have Brad turning up to the inquest confidently confirming that he knows Josh. See, as we know, that message, that WhatsApp message that Mark Smith debunked, which had the word Nikki in it, also had the word Josh in it as well. That message was sent to Debbie, or was meant to be sent to Debbie. That message was put together after Brad's interview, or it was at least published after Brad's interview. Why wasn't this information given to the Guardia Civil or to any investigator prior to Brad's interview? Remember, Brad done his interview 2 weeks later. That means there's a 2-week period for these guys to corroborate a story, to make it make sense as to why Jay went to the Airbnb and why Jay left the Airbnb. And all of a sudden, we've got this mysterious guy called Josh Forshaw that comes in and verifies it all. Yeah, I can verify it. He sent it all to me. Yeah, he sent it all to me. It's all bullshit, ladies and gentlemen, and this fraud on the screen knows it.
Evidence that relates to that investigation. The evidence now about the watch and the knives that I first reported about, but heavily criticised on, has been shown to be true.
Oh, it's been shown to be true from a fraud who can't be verified. So how long did it take for you to get that information, and what did you actually do with that information? How did it lead you to understanding what happened to Jay SLATER? See, there was nothing that you told us at the time that helped you find Jay SLATER. All you done, Mark, was give us thousands of different scenarios that could have possibly happened to Jay. You then started selling those headlines to the Daily Mirror with the audacity of trying to tell us, oh, that this was an accident, and you told us after day 3 it was no third party involved, and that I speak to the family, and this is what the family want, and I can tell you what the family want. Listen, Mark Williams Thomas, you do not know what the family want. You don't understand this case. You never understood this case. You got played from day one, and all you're going to do now with all of the things that you collated throughout that time being in Tenerife, turn it into a documentary so you can make money off of it. There's no justice for Jay from your perspective. You don't care. But guess what? The people like I and the multiple others have been called trolls because we actually care.
Confirmed as being accurate and evidentially supported. I can confirm that although Jay was pictured with 2 knives in his waist when he stood on the steps of that rental.
When he was stood on the steps of that rental, again, you are now recreating the blanket picture. It means that when they created that blanket picture, they took multiple other pictures, but one of them included them standing there with the 2 kitchen knives that belongs to that Airbnb. Now listen to this, Mark. You said that you spoke to Ayub Qasim. He told you and told the world clearly that he turned up to the Airbnb at what time? 6:45 in the morning. This guy, Josh, has told us that Jay sent him the photo of the 2 knives 90 minutes before the 7:30 phone call. So if it's 90 minutes before the 7:30 phone call, which should be the 8:30 phone call, according to what's being said or shared through the media, but let's say for the sake of what we're talking about now, for the sake of the inquest, it was 7:30, it means that the picture would have been sent to Josh at 6 o'clock in the morning, which means Jay would have been at that doorstep taking a picture of 2 knives at 6 o'clock in the morning. Is it funny how the picture with the blanket was posted at 7:30, an hour and a half later? Oh, Mark, I thought you understood what was going on here. See, I told you even in the last video, think of the timelines. The situation that took place with a bank account happened at 9 o'clock at night. The situation where Jay told his friend he had a marker on him happened at 2:30, 5 hours later. Jay mysteriously goes off with Ayub and Rocky 2 hours later. He sends this picture of him holding 2 knives at 6 o'clock, along with a picture of him in the back of the car saying he's going to sell this watch for 10 quid. Those 2 pictures would have been sent to Josh in between the hours of 5 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock in the morning, according to Josh.
Knives, as I'm told, were not found with him, and crucially, the knives, I'm told, were still in that apartment.
Okay, so that clearly proves that whoever took that picture had to have been in the apartment. Josh can't verify whether it was Jay in the picture with the knives in his trousers. Jay wasn't wearing trousers, he was wearing shorts. That's the reason why they never used that picture. I'm telling you now, they were trying to control perception by making it look like Jay done something wrong, went to the Airbnb, had 2 knives because someone was going to go and get him. That was a bit over-exaggerated. So instead of using the 2 knives, they decided to use the 2 blankets and make it look like everything was normal. Jay stole this watch, went to the Airbnb with Ayub, and he was a perfect host. Gave him a blanket, gave him a towel, gave him a charger. He took a picture. Yeah, he was messaging a lot of his friends. I could hear him downstairs messaging a lot of his friends. When the buzzer went off, Jay was like, oh my God, what's that buzzer sound? Ophelia was there all of a sudden, but guess what? Rocky disappeared because there was no word of Rocky in Ayub's story after that. The moment Rocky walked in the door and went to sleep, Rocky vanished and Rocky wasn't a part of the story ever again. But it's mad how all of that commotion happened in the morning with the buzzer and Ophelia asking him to move the car. Rocky doesn't exist. He's no longer involved. And Jay decides at that point, I'm going to leave. Yeah, I'm going to leave. But guess what? We hear in the inquest that Jay never asked Ophelia for the bus times. He asked these 2 strange men that were working on the construction next to Ophelia's house for the bus times. Clearly, based on what we know so far, ladies and gentlemen, these guys are obviously covering up an operation, an income stream that can affect so many people's pockets. This is the reason why this cover-up needs to exist.
Leave that property when he left. I note the police have been unable to find Lucy Law to attend the hearing. I have many recordings and conversations with Lucy who fully cooperated.
When he says recordings as well, we're talking about visual recordings with them on camera. Is that what we're talking about? Or are we talking about, you know, like audio recordings? Like, what are we talking about here, bro?
From the very beginning, and helped me piece together the events of that evening and of the morning when Jay left. But the most important witness the police have also been unable to trace is Ayub Qasim.
The most important witness, the most important one, the master manipulator, the fabricator. This is the Ayub Qasim story, and he's the most important witness, the controller, the puppeteer for Rocky, the online troll that is not only friends with Brandon, but also collaborates with Sluggy behind the scenes, and they create animated videos of content creators like me, and then they post that to the world on their TikTok accounts. Oh, that guy, Mark, yeah? Oh, wow.
And Steve Rockas.
Steve Rockas, I mean, now you know his name. Like I said in the last video, how does anyone know his name? How does he know his name's now Steven Rockas? How? Where did that come from? Who threw Rocky under the bus? Now, we can all say it was Duncan Smith because we know Duncan Smith's the guy that mentioned Rocky's name about 2 months ago. The person on the screen that you can see right now threw Rocky under the bus. And he is going to puppeteer Rocky through this. Don't worry, Rocky, my guy. I've got you, bro. All you've got to do is say this.
Spoke to Rockas, but I did track down Ayub and had a number of detailed conversations with him, all of them recorded.
All of them recorded. Are we talking about visual recording? I mean, I don't know. I don't even mind if they're not visual recorded with Ayub. I just want to hear what Ayub had to say to Mark Williams Thomas from day one.
I put to him many questions and he answered them.
Okay.
I also have other information about him. I also have WhatsApp conversations with him. And it's
WhatsApp conversations with him. Interesting.
That I have some very crucial evidence that has not yet been made public and does provide, I believe, greater context as to why Jay left that property on that morning.
Mark again. That confirms right there that Mark Williams Thomas has been played. He just said right there that Ayub Qasim has provided him with crucial evidence that will give us a clearer understanding as to why Jay left that Airbnb that day. If it was Ayub that gave that to Mark Williams Thomas, with the amount of lives and the amount of things that Ayub has done over the past 10 months, I'm pretty sure Ayub would have already given that information to us. Let's just literally hear that one more time.
I believe greater context as to why with him. And it's from Ayub that I have some very crucial evidence that has not yet been made public.
Wow.
It does provide
not yet been made public. So you're telling me Ayub has told you something that he hasn't told us. Okay, interesting.
Greater context as to why Jay left that property on that morning and took the decision to walk. And to add to
the decision to walk. Wow.
Quality of the police investigation.
Ayub told us he doesn't understand why Jay walked. He thought Jay was sitting at the bus stop the whole time waiting for a bus. So, interesting.
important image relating to the watch being stolen apparently has now been deleted by the police. I've kept every
Hold on.
image
Let me repeat
relating
that.
to both the watch and the night has now been deleted by the police. To walk. And to add to the questionable quality of the police investigation, one important image relating to the watch being stolen apparently has now been deleted by the police.
What? So one important image about the watch being stolen has apparently been deleted by the police. What are we talking about? What image are we referring to? Based on this inquest and based on what Mark's saying, we've got so many more questions than we do have answers. There's now so many more red flags.
I've kept every image relating to both the watch and the knives and other series of communication. Debbie was asked yesterday, was she happy for the statements of Ayub and Rokas to be read out? And she said, no, I want them to attend court. Quite rightly so.
I don't think she was only referring to those two guys. In her head, she was probably thinking, where the hell is Lucy? Where is Brandon? Those two especially. But where's also Brad? I need them here as well. I need you all here.
I think it's fair to say that after yesterday's hearing, the family will feel disappointed and certainly does not leave one with the view that the police investigation has been both thorough and meticulous. At the time,
Firstly, the police investigation hasn't been thorough. If the investigation had been thorough, you'll have all the information that the people like myself have, that Duncan Smith have, and that various other content creators have.
All my evidence to the Spanish police, but they never responded. And I remain happy to share everything I have.
So he confirms there that he gave all of his information and evidence to the Spanish police, but they never responded.
I'm happy to share all my information with Lancashire police, although obviously this was a Spanish police-led investigation, not a British.
Exactly. And this is the reason why the UK police have no jurisdiction and they haven't done anything since.
My thoughts remain with Jay's family. Whilst I took a great deal of criticism throughout my coverage of the case, looking back, it's clear now that the evidence come out of court. And
see, look at these videos that they're trying to show us. They're trying to show us that Jay ended up at the bottom of this. Make it make sense. Like, that's what you're implying.
Apologies. That sadly, it was a tragic accident. There was no third-party involvement, which I was very clear to make an assessment on in the very early days.
No, you wasn't. No, you wasn't. You wasn't. You'd never investigated enough to know if there was third-party involvement. Who's to say that Jay wasn't driven to that ravine at 4 o'clock in the morning, drunk out of his face, smashed out of his face, told to get out of the car, and he was left to walk? They drove back to the Airbnb and they left Jay there. Who's to say that never happened? See, they never physically done anything to Jay, but Jay got out of the car, was walking along the path, not knowing where he is in the pitch black, and boom, fell off. Are you telling me no one's responsible for that? Or does that go down as an accident, Mark? You wouldn't know that, would you? Because you never investigated anything that happened leading up to Jay going missing. All you done was take information from people that manipulated the way you was thinking, what you were feeling, and ultimately what you were believing, Mark. You got played. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys comment down below. Let me know exactly what you guys are thinking after that one. Mark Williams Thomas coming out telling us absolute BS. Mark, if you're listening to this, send me an email. I've said it in the last video. If you haven't seen the last video, Mark, make sure you go and check that out. In fact, go and check out all of the videos that we have done debunking your BS. If you want to understand what truly could have happened to Jay leading up to him falling off that cliff, then all you've got to do is drop me an email, because we have evidence that you clearly don't have. Okay. Anyway, for everyone else, ladies and gentlemen, you know it's not about love and respect to every single one of you. What I need you to do is hit that like button, leave all your comments down below. I need to know exactly what you are thinking. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are newly watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.